Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am your Destiny Dad, and welcome back to another weekly Zerg review video. Check out what the old boy has brought for us this week. I am a touch late today. I apologize, but we are here. So to start us off for our hunters, we do have the Mechanier Strict Sleeves. We've got the Gunner type. I forget what the names are for these things. I'm still learning that. But we do have a 29 weapons stat and a 19 grenade stat with a bump in health as well. And we have a base total of 59. For the hunter, we also have the Omnioculus. We do have 29 health and 20 class, which is actually not bad. And we have 13 weapons. I don't know that health is the best option, but I do know that weapons is probably one of, if not the strongest. And then for something like Omnioculus, you would want either class or melee, I suppose, for a build on that. There's also a base 62 stat, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the highest exotics can get. Or is it 63 that is the highest exotics can get? I can't remember. I'll have to figure that out. For our Titans, we have the Peregrine Greaves. We do have a base of 58. We've got class, weapons, and grenade as your 3 stats. We then have a Cadmus Ridge Lance Cap. This thing had been doing some rounds on Prismatic, but I haven't heard anything about it for a hot minute, and I'm imagining that it's no longer really all that hot. We do have a base total of 60, which is pretty decent, as well as super, melee, and then grenade as your 3 stats. For our warlocks, we have Karnstein Armlets with a base of 60. We do have melee, health, and class as your 3 stats. And lastly, we have Second Filaments, and we do have a base of 60 with a weapons, grenade, and melee 3 stats. That's a lot of weapons. I almost wonder if I want to pick that up. I'll have to look at mine and see what I have later and see if I want to grab that. And of course, we do have the Relativism. Exotic class item. I am on my hunter, and you will have whatever your respective class item is on whichever class you sign in on and look at Zerg with. For our strange offers this week, we do have raid banners, as well as the usual assortment of materials. And for our gear this week, we do have a Hawkmoon with opening shot, which is pretty decent. Poly rounds is not terrible, but it is probably not the best you can get. Alloy mag, I think it is alloy mag that is the only option, if I'm remembering correctly here. One of these is the only option that it comes with. I think it's alloy mag, yeah. Alloy mag, which is not a bad option, honestly. It does improve that reload speed when you're near empty by a lot. But opening shot is pretty banger. And then smooth grip is also not bad. But if you do not know currently, you can randomly roll Hawkmoons from your collections. So as long as you have a Hawkmoon, you can come to your collections. And let's see if I can use my fingers properly. Come down to kinetic, and then where are we? Yeah, it allows you to reacquire Hawkmoon, and you can just do this over and over and over, and every time you get it, it will be random rolls. It will not be just the one that shows up here. that probably will be patched or fixed at some point in the near future. So if you don't have a good Hawkmoon, I definitely recommend doing that if you have some materials to burn. Up next for our exotics, we have the Huckleberry. Excellent submachine gun. Very strong, and the catalyst makes it even stronger. Next we have the Fighting Lion, super slept on. It can apply volatile, it can destroy shields, it can autoload itself, and provide other weapons that you have with damage bonuses. Then we have Darcy, essentially the Gjallarhorn of snipers. It has been pretty heavily memed on for a good while, but it has been buffed and is actually not too bad in the correct circumstances. For our catalysts this week, we do have the Borealis Catalyst as well as the Luminarch Catalyst. I believe the Borealis Catalyst does basically nothing but stat bumps, if I remember correctly. And Luminarch gives you stat bumps and also Unrelenting, I believe the perk is called. But yeah, I definitely, if you had to pick one, I would definitely go with the Luminarch, because Luminarch is just strong, it stays strong, and has been strong for a very long time. For our legendary weapons this week, we have the Farewell Sidearm. We've got Subsistence and Adrenaline Junkie with appended mag, fluted and extended, with a Handling Masterwork. Honestly, not a terrible roll. I don't think that it's anything crazy, and I think you can probably get some newer sidearms that are a little bit better. I know that there is a Stasis sidearm dropping from the Pinnacle Ops and things like that, but I have not I haven't been saving too much of the loot that I've been getting currently, because I'm not really gonna care about loot until I'm able to get it in tier 5, because that's just how I am. But if you don't have a good kinetic sidearm, that's actually not a bad roll. Next we have the Legal Action, a high impact frame pulse rifle. We have Adrenaline Junkie as well as Feeding Frenzy. We got Arrowhead, we got Tag Mag, Steady Rounds, and Chambered Compensator. I wish this thing was better. If it was one archetype down, I could maybe see a play for this role in PvP. I don't think that Feeding Frenzy is good enough in PvE anymore to really be good. And Adrenaline Junkie is not bad, but it's nothing crazy. But in PvP, if you get a kill with this, you get a stack of damage, similar to Multi-Kill Clip, similar to Rampage. It's not going to be any sort of, it's not a 30% damage increase. But what it is moving the needle on forgiveness and time to kill on certain weapon archetypes. And I don't believe that a high impact can move that needle very much. So I think that this would probably be a pass for me this week. Up next we have the Adamantite Support Frame Auto Rifle. And sadly, this is not a good roll, but you are probably going to want to pick this up if you do not have one. The honest truth is that support frames are incredibly good utility tools, and there's currently only 2 in the game, and this is one of them. And if you did not play last season, or maybe you were a new player, maybe you're a returning player, maybe you just got unlucky and didn't get a good roll last season even though you played. Whatever the case, get this gun unless you have one already. You do need and do want this gun, but the roll of it this week is just not good. Next up we have Eye of Soul with Slick Draw and Firing Line, the first time that Mr. Xur has brought Trials weapons. Sadly, It's not a fantastic roll. Maybe if it had opening shot, there would be a play for Hammer Forged, there would be a play for Flared Mag, and I personally like Slick Draw, even though it's not the greatest. And if you enhanced it, you could throw on the ballistics and get your range and stability up a little bit and have a decent PvP sniper. But firing line is not fantastic, and there's no left column perk here to refund ammo or help you reload or anything like that. And I'd say that this one is a pass unless you just want to get it to add to collections. Check it off your list. Up next we have Shayura's Wrath with Strategist and High Impact Reserves, as well as High Cal and Fluted. I could see a play for this in PvP. This is not the role or a god role by any stretch of the means, I don't believe, but I can very much so see a play for both Strategist and High Impact Reserves with PvP, and the stats and barrel and mag and all of that are not actually bad. I don't think this is going to break the bank. I don't think this is going to be a slaying machine. But if you don't have a decent PvP SMG and you want one, I definitely would give this a shot. Next up is Cruel Mercy. Oh, wow. Yeah, right there that's just a 5 out of 5 PvP god roll. You got Kill Clip, you got Lone Wolf, you got Armor Piercing, and then you have Small Bore or Corkscrew, whichever you prefer, and Handling Masterwork. I farmed a lot for this thing, and I don't think I got one that was that kind of a roll, actually. I don't like that it's not Adept or a high tier, but that's a really solid roll. I might have to pick that up. For our swords, this week we have Honor's Edge with Tireless and Shattering Blades. No Swordmaster, no Jagged. I would pass on that one. And we have the Just In Case. We have Unrelenting and Thresh. We do have Swordmaster and we do have Tempered. But Thresh and Unrelenting, while they synergize one with another, it's another one of those cases where you're probably not using a sword to add clear. So, if you do want one, that might work for you. If not, I would suggest passing on it. And lastly, we do have the Summoner. Ooh boy. Got another really solid rolled weapon here. Got Onslaught and Subsistence. We've got Alloy and Appended Mag. We got Fluted and Full Bore with a Handling Masterwork. That is definitely worth a pick. I did not get a good roll of the Summoner when it was last in rotation, and the only good roll Summoner I've ever gotten was from the first time it came around, and it was non-adept, but it was like 100 range and it had, what was it? It was Dynamic Sway and Rangefinder, I think. It was back in the time when Rangefinder actually made guns super OP in PvP. And I still have it saved somewhere in my vault, I believe. But I might actually grab this for a PvE roll, because that is really good. But with all of that being said, I do believe that is all we had to talk about. Xur has been a little bit streamlined, a little bit more of a lighter thing to review since the updates. So hopefully these videos will get a little bit faster, and hopefully they continue to update him. I like what they've done. I will say I miss a little bit of the armor and things like that, and I understand why they haven't done anything. If you missed my video this past Tuesday, I kind of feel the same way about Xur's guns, although he has guns that are new enough and exclusive enough that it makes up for them being tier 1 and being like low stats and stuff like that. But essentially with the tiered system, I don't think that they have sunset the gear that we have. I think they've sunset the world gear. I think the more niche weapons, the more easy to get weapons, the more common weapons that maybe don't drop with super crazy OP perks that maybe aren't adept with 100 in every stat, that maybe aren't just the most game-breaking weapons of all time. I think those are the guns that really suffer with this new tiering system, because I've been like this great example right here. I've had this in my inventory for a hot minute now. It's only a tier 4. It can get a higher tier, but this has got a lot of really good stuff on it. And I'm currently saving it because it's my highest roll, and well, it's not my highest roll anymore. I've been saving it. I've been grinding. I am behind on my power grind, but we are still out here doing what we're doing. But like, yeah, this is just, I just got this from doing an activity. It wasn't even that hard. I think I actually joined a boss checkpoint for a weekly story mission, and it was in and out in like 20 minutes, if that. And I got this, and it's like, this blows any world drop that I have out of the water, and any world drop that I could think of getting, this blows out of the water. It just makes me worry for those kinds of weapons. The same thing with Banshee, same thing with Ada. The more niche, more like off meta options do suffer from the tiered system, because you can't really tier them up. Right, before you could have an adept and it was very clearly stronger than its non-adept form, but you could craft a weapon and it would be strong. You could have an adept weapon, it would be strong. You could have a world drop and it would be weaker stat wise than your adept or your crafted, but it could have better perks or similar perks, or it could just be competitive. Maybe you couldn't go flawless, maybe you couldn't run the Grandmaster, but you could go and farm a Lost Sector and you were able to get this roll of this weapon, and it would be really good. But now, unless you don't care about your weapons being as high tiered as possible, it seems like there's not really that option anymore. But with all of that being said, I believe that will wrap us up for this week's video. If you're new around here and you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like before you go. If you like what you see, or if you're just someone who's been coming back on the regular, subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss another video from me, and keep coming back and hanging out with me. Thank you if you watched all the way through to the end. I appreciate all of you and love you all very much, and I will catch you Guardians next time.